Right. Hello. Welcome back. Welcome again for our live session uh, of a second part of our today's live class. Today we will do the part three of our continuous learning and reading from the book Letting Go. And we are learning about relationship building. And in the relationship building, we are at the point of negative feelings. And specifically, we will learn today about a negative feeling, which is a mother of all negative feelings. Many people say is fear. So we will learn about fear in regards to the relationship development. So uh, at the moment, I'm live on my Zoom uh, with my Zoom audience on Facebook group and also on YouTube streaming as well. There are all links on under the my transmission, and also there is a YouTube channel link as well, so you can join as well. Uh, and Also there is a blog link as well, which is maratib.com. You can subscribe this blog as well, where I do write and post my activities regarding life improvement, productivity, habits, especially the seven habits, eighth habit, and spirituality as well. Uh, so let's start it, and we are going to read and learn from famous and my favorite Dr. David Hawkins, who was a authority in spirituality, in medicine field as well, especially because he was a psychiatrist and he was at the same time spiritual leader as well. So he got the great result. He got the in form of his books, legend books. So we are blessing to read and get some of the insight from these books as well. And we so what we are going to get from today, we are going to get there are four things from today. So, from this session, there are four questions you need to ask, and you need to find the result from today's session, this section. Number one, if your relationship is at risk, it means that if your relationship with your boss, with your employee, with your worker, with your wife, or with your husband is at a risk mean at a divorce or at end of something, so then this session can going to be important for you. If your partner or yourself has a tendency to escape from each other, this is a session for you. If you or your partner claim that you belongs to him or her, or they try to possess you, this is session for you. And the last but not the least, if your partner wants to detach from you, they are trying to hide from each other, they are going to play hide and seek, and that is this is session for you. So I hope that you will enjoy this session for next 20 minutes, and we will continue to read from the book that I will not going to discuss fear in a detail, because on a fear in detail I have made couple of episodes. If you are new to my transmission, you can go to my YouTube channel. There are previous episodes dedicated entirely on fear. If you want to understand fear with a greater understanding, obviously I'm not psychiatrist, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm a communicator and I'm a coach. I try to help you to make you understand to improve your relationship, to know yourself, and towards make your life greater in some dimension. That is my capacity and my intentions to you. The fear, which is a greater negative emotion in ourselves, and we try to hide from this. We tend to make ourselves uh, change a lot in many dimensions. The fear is a negative emotion which dragging our life, which make ourselves ego with ego. Um, and we try to become sometimes very strong. No, I'm not going to let down because I'm a very strong person. I'm a strong lady. I'm a strong man. How I can scared from someone, but actually they are scared. They are scared from many unknown and known things. They are scared from their unconscious and conscious mind and conscious action. We are scared from our relationship and results because we know that we are product of our ego. We are product of series of guilty. We are product of our incompetency. We are product of our uh, self negative image what we have about ourselves. We have an ego of so much confusion and conflicts. Good news is that these are all like a shadows, and these are all like clouds. You know, when there is a storm start to come, storms does not come straight away. Storms comes with big giant cluster of clouds, and it comes over your city and start to make you darker and darker. And when you are in field and everything everywhere is dark, and now I don't know whether there will be any sunlight I can see, then it means that is like your life at the moment. You become more resistive, you become more aggressive, you become more egoful, you become more selfish when you start to feel that there are clouds of fear, clouds of um, uh, guilties, clouds of depression and negative feelings and blah blah blah. But good news is these are just clouds. They will come and go away in sooner or later, tomorrow or after 2 days. You don't need to worry. But do you have a right tools? Do you have a right tools to make escape from this cloud rather than trying to escape from your husband, trying to escape from your wife, trying to escape from the relationship which you don't uh, know how to fix it? So why you are lack of these tools? So we will try to know little bit our mental intelligence junks from psychiatrist Dr. David Hawkins, what he tries to say us, and we need to pick these things immediately to implement so that we can wipe these black clouds from our life, these fears, and we will live like confident person. We live and progress towards our relationship development. We work with synergy. We work with ideal person relationship so that we can live with win-win situation. We can work like a team. We can clarify our expectation. We could make a common goal to achieve them. So these are all things we can do. But the real problem is fear. Fear of losing each other, fear of being to feel disrespect from other, fear of to kick by my partner. Lot of people, they have a fear of being refusal, fear of being rejected, which have a root cause of low self-esteem, poor self-image, bad courage, confused mind, and too much raw material, too much information in the mind, so that you can't work with that thing as well. You can't work on these too much information because our mind has a capacity. If you are loading with too much thoughts, raw thoughts, I heard this YouTube video. I heard this from that movie. I know this fact from my teacher. I know this is a story of my one of the friend. So we are bombarded by too much raw information. So that make us scared as well because too much knowledge is nothing but a negative and harmful for you if you cannot get the positive from that, and you cannot do the positive impact in your life. So we will try to help ourselves that how we can make our life with fear free or fearless. Because fear is like a imagined threat, you know. Fear is no, there is no reality. Fear is not like this is a mouse, is a reality. Yeah, fear is not like that. Fear is just a cloud which you have thought about. It's a imagined thing. You think your spouse will kick you, your spouse um, will refuse you, will reject you, and have rejected. This is only in your imagination because of poor image about yourself you have. So that's a imagine. And also fear is very much like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Do you know about what is self-fulfilling prophecy means? It means that you know everything. You know that you can't change. You know that this fear will kill you. You know that you know the reality. This is called self fulfilling prophecy. And your ego will make you fear into the reality. You are going to turn a fake thing, like fear is a fake thing, into a reality because of that belief on the fear. So if the person will have a fear of from the spider, if the person have a fear of or have a phobia of being drawn in a river or in a water, do you think that that person will survive when he or she will dive in the river, or if that person is bitten by spider? No, of course that will impact him or her, because he or she has thought, he or she has this self-fulfilling prophecy, and he knows that by his low quality knowledge or information, that when spider or certain type of spider comes and it bite, then you will die. You know that when person fell in a water, then you die. Because of these type of uh, imagined things, these all creates a fear, because you know that you do not respect yourself. How your wife can respectful towards you, how your husband will respect you, because you don't respect yourself. And that at the same time, if you are employee and you know that you are a very nervous employee, when you speak with some customer, how you and how your husband your boss can trust on you. So that will this fear will not make you a confident employee. Sooner or later you will be fired, or you will resign from that job, or you will get divorced, or other person will divorce you. So that's the things we have everywhere in our life, and that's a irony, that's a problem everywhere we are getting, unfortunately. So let's try to learn from the book, and we will try to wrap it quickly as well. That what David Hawkins is saying to us. There are three small paragraphs, and these small paragraph we will try to learn from the book. So I would ask Cynthia if you can read it for us, and then after that Jenny can read, and then Zara can read the third paragraph, and then more importantly, you need to note down important points in a separate diary or separate notepad, and try to implement those learned things which you are convinced, rather than to wait for the right time to implement that, because right time will never come. This life is too short. You have to do the take the action, and take the action now. So I would request the Cynthia if you can read it, please.
Sure. Fear. The feelings of fear, whether tension and anxiety, shyness, self consciousness, caution, holding back, or distrust, have the purpose of escape from the imagined threat. and to put psychological distance from the feared situation or person. Paradoxically, as we have pointed out before, because the fear is powerful, the very process of holding it in mind can make that which is feared come into our life. It is like a self fulfilling prophecy. The energy of fear generates an inner focus on all the negative things that could happen. And that focus can coalesce, combine the appearance of the very events that we fear the most.
Thank you very much. It's a great reading. So these are the those things which I just pointed out about fear. Uh, so I don't want to go in details. You know better what does it mean from David's point of view, and he's a person who have served uh, thousands of psychological patients, and because he had a power of spiritual intelligence, that's why he could identify what was a real problem of the people who are in fear. And that fear does not even destroy themselves, but the people around them, but the people or expectation who have with them. That's the main problem with the people who have fear. uh, Even if you have the fear, or always remember, these are all negative feelings are learned values, are learned notions. They all are learned or imagined things in my mind, which I took from my society, which I took from the media, from the movie, from the films, from the newspaper, from my friend stories, from my own observation, from my town. From these, all things are learned. And if they all are learned, it means you have so much raw things in your mind. You have to be unlearn them. You have to be escape from these things, rather than to escape from the spouse, rather than to escape from the office. So that is a very important point which we have to make our things. So and also you know that when there is a big clash between husband and wife happens, when there is a strong fight between husband and wife, I'm talking about more ironically between husband and wife, that could be between two person, any person, or between any partner or any form of civil relationship. But I'm specifically talking about husband and wife, because that is more people in our world today. So when people, husband and wife, are face to face, they are on a critical attack. The person who have fear will let down, will lose eventually, and the other person if will make you attack on you. You know, when the other person will attack on you, you will not lose because other person was right. You will lose because you had the fear. You have imagined that fear, that this day will come when other person will kick me, when other person will reject me, when other person will threat me to get out from my life, when other person will have a capacity to show me the negative things in me, and that you are allowing that person because you are so much indulged on these series of fear. So that, therefore, you will lose eventually, and you at the end you will escape. You will go somewhere. You will try to hide that from that person, and that's happened. The divorce is the best escape act, or separation is the best escape, where you have already acknowledged that you have a poor self-image and you need to be keep away, rather than to wipe the fear, strong front stand or go with them, and that person will go let down if he is or she is not at the right position. And so you have to wipe your fears. You have to be very confident if you want to win and live life confidently, not only for yourself but for your children, but for your own self and well-being, because you deserve more than before other person will kick you because of your fear, because of your self negative image, because of any attack once he or she do on you. And what happens when somebody try to come and face you a strong argument with each other? They are trying to maybe the physical abuse, or give you push, or maybe slap, or maybe physical torture, or I don't know what happens, what your strategy will usually happens in this. In most cases we surrender. We not surrender because of our ego. We surrender because other person have shown me what I was imagining, what other person was reminding me about my fears. And now it's a time to go home. It's a time to leave the end of relationship. It's a time to go for have a drug. It's a time to go and have a apathy. It's a time to go to live in a depression and take pills and try to hide from the situation and curse myself, curse my faith, and it will impact negatively if there are dependence on you. And that's happened a lot of times as well. So let's try to learn that how we can dissolve the fear, how we can dissolve if we have a fear, and how we can empower ourselves if we have fear, and what are the mental intelligence we can use at that time when we are in conflict on in my situation with my spouse, with my boss, with my employee, or with my any partner. So we need to have a tool to dissolve the fear. And this is, to be honestly, this is like I said, fear is like a cloud which comes. But if you don't know how to take out from this, that won't you that won't you make you happy. So you need to have its tools. So let's try to learn in this paragraph what are those tools which you can dissolve your fear into your power. So I would request Jenny, if you can read this, please.
Fear in relationships, therefore, is giving away our power to another person and enabling them to do the very thing that is feared. The way out is to look at the worst possible scenario and look at the feelings they arouse and begin to relinquish them. Like other emotions, fear can be unraveled separate to its component parts, and the parts are then easily relinquished, surrender, or withdrawals. For instance, let's say that there is a fear of critical attack. We ask ourselves, what's the worst possible scenario? With this question, we see that the basis of fear is pride. When the pride is recognized and relinquished, the fear automatically dissolves. Again, in a relationship in which we are experiencing fear, if we unravel the fear, we may find that it is really a fear of discovery of our inner anger. The fear is that the other person will retaliate against the anger. Again, when we relinquish the anger, the fear will automatically disappear.
Thank you. It's a great reading. So if you try to learn that how we can disappear, and uh, because the fear has some roots, some causes, and some affiliation with pride, with anger, and if we try to uh, separate from fear, from anger, and from pride, then we know that what is going to be happen. And because when pride is recognized and relinquished, uh, the fear automatically dissolve. And what the pride means here, if you have a sense of superiority, if some other person is trying to fight with you, it means that person have some superiority, some pride, or some elements in which he or she tries to attack on you. And if you do not have a mental intelligence, and also spiritual intelligence, to separate these arrogancy, these pride, then they respond very wisely. accurately, with the rightly manner, because the main thing is not to let down the other person. The main thing is to dissolve the fear into in some form of reality, so that other person uh, know that he is uh, attacking not wisely, and other person let down himself or herself, rather than to own the victim in which the person is going to be attacked. And that's happened a lot of times. We are very poor, we are very poor in response. If my partner is attacking on me, then I will try to surrender my under my fear, rather than I will try to surrender, it will let go in a spiritual way, and that's why it goes very disaster, and become more complicated as well. And only healing is the time, is when the time can heal. um, uh, and time but time is a great healer, but if we will wait for the time, then there are more possibilities. People have option to have other affairs and extramarital relations already at the point where you can easily go to these extramarital possible relations you can do if you are not happy with your partner. And the same thing, the other person have so many options if you will try to escape from the relationship. And don't forget, and but don't forget, if you are going to change your partner, if you are going to now escape by making a new friend, by making a new partner, you will have the same fear with them as well. And the same thing will happen again and again, because itself you have a scared feelings, negative feelings of fear in yourself, and that won't let you alone. That will come again with the next partner, that will come again with your next um boss, if you have changed your company. So that will again. One important thing about being feel scared or being feared, uh, is that you try to possess other. You said that this, she is my wife and she is my property. When you will start to have this feeling, then what will happen? You actually try to punish your wife, because you are now not liberating her to do something uh, without your permission or without your consent word, because you think you are she is your property. The same thing is about husband. When we think that this husband is mine, this husband is my property, or my and you try to possess, the same thing, what will happen? The husband will escape, try to escape, and make so many different ways to trick the wife. And that trick wife cannot understand all the time. The same thing, wife can trick the husband and husband cannot understand. And these tricks make us hypocrite. This trick make us dishonest partner, and make and let the foundation of series of lies which we will continuously speak with my husband or with my wife. And because we trying to escape from each other, and because I think that she is my property or he is my property, or I own her or I own him, this type of possession is a punishment for other person. So that's why these fear uh, are very very dangerous. Now the fear are more abusive now. Is Now the fear is in more vulnerable condition or position in your life. The other person now feeling pressured by energy of dependency you are trying to show, and possessiveness has inner impulse to run from the freedom, to withdraw, to detach, and do very thing that we fear the most. So that is going to be happen as well. You see that many people after marriage they try to not give the time to to the husband or to the wife, and they try to involve or busy in other many activities. Why this is happens? Because of escapism most of the time, and the root cause is fear. And once we have dissolved this fear, then we will have a very synergistic partner and friendly relationship, and where we don't possess each other. Otherwise this relationship is so much disaster. Many people, because of ego or selfish reason, they try to grab hold the wife, and that's why the other person is hold the wife, and they have a pride. I deserve my wife. I'm rich person. I'm a very educated person. I own a lot of companies. I'm a talented person, so this girl is mine, and she cannot do anything without my consent. And that's I'm going to punish indirectly to her. And the same thing happened with other side as well. So this will go to and fro, and these attitude lead to constantly wanting to influence other. And because people intuitively pick up our wish to control them, their response is to resist. And what happened when husband order something to the wife, and wife will resist? And the same thing after that, if uh, and the husband will resist. And why these resistance comes? They try to make tricks, they might to rationalize the escapism or other means of things as well, because of these fears, because of these not clarifying expectations. And this means because they even don't enjoy the position of letting go uh, the inner fears which are arising in the mind, in the life as well. So these are there are so many problems as well. One of the more important problem at the last and I'm saying is a jealousy factor, because I think that he or she is like my property, and I have a right to possess her or him. Therefore, I will be jealous when that property is tried to link with some other person, and that will lead the another frustration, the another uh, approach of building the poor relationships, or obviously fighting, quarrels, and series of bad things start to happen. You may have a lot of girlfriends, you may have girls may have extramarital relations, or these type of things. That will be the only end result, let's say. And eventually it will go at the end of relationship. So until so, but the more important things that these negative feelings of fear, until we don't have a capacity to dissolve it, we will not make a healthy relationship. So let's try to the last paragraph from this, and then we will make some conclusion. So I would request Zara, if you can read it, please.
Yeah. The insecure person is fearful and prone to jealousy, clinging, possessiveness, and attachment in relationships, an approach that always brings frustration. The purpose of these feelings is to bind and tightly possess the other, to achieve security by preventing loss, and at times to punish the other for our own fear of loss. Again, these attitudes tend to bring into manifestation the very thing that we are holding in mind. The other person, now feeling pressured by our energy of dependency and possessiveness, has an inner impulse to run for freedom, to withdraw, to detach, and do the very thing that we fear the most. These attitudes lead to constantly wanting to influence others because people intuitively pick up our wish to control them. Their response is to resist. So, the only way to bring other relinquishment of their resisting us is to let go of wanting to influence them in the first place. This means letting go of the inner fears as they come up.
Thank you so much. It's a great reading. So if you try to read it and reevaluate in your mind what Stephen is David is trying to say us about the dependency and too much attachment. And when person is attached to someone, for example, the husband is saying I'm very attached to you, or wife is saying I'm very attached to you, and that attachment is too much that the other person is taking as lack of freedom. For example, uh, if so what happens, then the other person will try to escape. And like I said, that there are so many tricks which husband and wives can play with each other, and try to make rationalize with the social environment or setting what they have. Therefore eventually they will have a very poor relationship. No matter they will try to fake it in many ways, eventually it will break. Or if it's not break, it will be like just a pendulum is going here and there. Sometime you give a very good argument and you are going up on a little bit smile, and sometime other person is has trapped you and you are in depression. So this pendulum of swing will continue until you will finish the dissolve or have the power of choice to make your fears dissolve. These fears are so important. I must say you must make a heavy reading for the same book, or there are so many other books where you can learn fear. Because once you acknowledge how the fear happens, how the fear comes inside you, and how you can identify and how you can dissolve it, then you will come out from fear. If the person knows that I'm scared of the spider, but until he knows that this spider is just in his imagine, this spider will not harmful for him or her, then he will go or she will go and and hold the spider in the hand and say, oh look, once upon a time I used to be scared to from you. I had a phobia to touch you or to be bitten by you, and now you are in my hand, unless you become my pet. So these type of things, once you will identify yourself, then you can have a uh, restore of the relationship. So these are the very important things which we need to have. And the last what you can take your home today, that the which I conclude from this reading, you can add or remove something based on your circumstances, that the feelings of fear is imagined threat. If you have any fear, then it is imagined. If you are living on a 10th floor and you have a fear you will fall down from 10th floor, that's not reality. That's imagined threat you have built in your thing. If you think that your husband will divorce you, or you will divorce your husband, that's not going to be happen. It is only happening in your mind. uh, e- Energy of fear focused on all negative things that could happen. uh, Energy of fear focus on all negative things that could happen. Yeah, that's very uh, you need to deviate your focus from the fear, uh, from the fear which you are, and try to shift to dissolve this fear. uh, and The best thing which I could suggest, if that try to write all fears and end result on a piece of paper, and try to think with your spirit and with a reality, and you will amaze that 95% things of fear related, they are just in your mind. It does not exist in reality. And then you will come out from this negative energy. You must realize that the fear is a self-fulfilling prophecy, that you are making commitment with you and you think that it's a reality. You over smart actually. I can say you try to deceive you. You are not deceiving someone, you are deceiving yourself. because you are acting like a prophet. You know everything. Or you, I know her, I know him very well. I know why she did this. I know why he did this. I know what his attention is about. I know what her actions are doing to do. Now you acting like a god. We acting like I know everything. Try to come out from these things. Try come to the reality. So, and also give freedom to your partner is really essential, especially in marriages. People try to possess, partner try to possess each other and do not give the freedom to move. I remember I was in my house, and there was a fighting between in a home in my neighborhood, and the cops came, and when the police ask and knock the door my door and say, did you hear some sound from your neighbor, what happened? I said, I sorry, I didn't hear anything. But I said, what happened? And the police said, there's some severe things happened in a physical torture level. So I want to ask you that something happened. Then eventually, after a few days, we found that the what was the main cause. The main cause was the lady, the partner lady, was trying to force the husband not to meet his relations in relatives in London for some reason, because they had a poor relationship, and obviously that person could not resist not to meet his relationship, and that's a fundamental human rights, that everybody can meet anyone. Uh, you try to build a trust with someone. If you have some enemy and your partner is going to meet enemy, and but this, they are not enemy of your partner. It is your thought which is making you other people enemy about you, and that leads to be lot of self punishment forms as well, and relationships problems as well, and that's all our mental activities, and it doesn't exist with the reality. This all are manipulating in our mind. So these are the negative feelings we need to do. The second last finding keynotes you can take: if your partner has tendency to run from for freedom from you or detach from you, it means that he or she have fears against you or related to you. And find out what the fears other partner have, and try to stop her or him why he's going away from him or away from her. If some employee is trying to leave the company, find why my he's or she is very good worker employee, and why she wants to leave my company. What my company is not giving to you? What are the fears he or she has from my company? So that we can do as well. And the last but not the least, in case of critical attack, if you have an attack, a very bad attack, like verbal attack or a proper fight between husband and wife, and proper it's like a film is going to be happen, try to recognize and separate your pride from the fear. Try to see that why I'm doing this or why other person is doing, what the pride he or she has and what I have, because that pride or the that all anger has a connection with fear, and I need to separate the fear from uh, that pride, or that self-created pride I have, because pride does not have anything. It's just a learned behavior from other. For example, if I'm say I'm American, or I'm a British and I'm superior, then uh, uh, a Chinese person, and I start to make sense of superiority based on this. So that pride actually is a fake pride. That pride is just is nothing to with reality. The same thing if husband is thinking he is a man, and male has a superiority over the lady or man, and then I have a pride and I have a command over you, and you have to follow me, and you don't have a freedom to do anything without me, and blah blah blah. And the same thing with the girl with the feminist spirit will say, I'm a lady, I'm a queen of your house, and you can't do without my permission, and blah blah blah. And then, that's is not going to be end anyway. So try to be a very normal person. Try to feel that you need to let go the problems. That problems you cannot solve with your ego, because egos work basically to provoke the problems, not the resolve. Resolve you only can through love, kindness, ignorance. Ignore other person, um, spirit, uh, forgiveness, and these all things you need to do. There is no other way you can cure your problems related with fear. So that's all about the relationship, negative feelings in regards with fear. uh, I must encourage you to learn about fear more, so that you can work properly and remove and wipe your all clouds of your fear, and build a very strong and straightforward, confident life. Uh, and That's a thing. If you have any question, if you have any story, if you have any concern you want to share, please feel free to contact. We are still on recording, so that other people can learn from each other. Always remember, we act like a group, like Harry, who was 76 years old, and where they work in a group and learn from each other, and everybody is supporting each other for their making the right direction of their life. If we have, uh, so that's all. Let me see if somebody has any question on the Facebook or somewhere. Oh, okay. So, uh, so I hope there is no question, or if you have any question, no problem. I am trying to address it. The next week we will continue uh, work on the second section in relationship, and our next emotion will be pride. What is pride, and why we have a negative feelings of pride? What make us pride? Because pride many people use as a positive feeling. We will try to learn pride, or to have a proudful on something, is a really negative feeling, or is nothing, it's something with some positive things as well. We will try in details about, because if you see from the fear, some of the conflict between husband and wife is due to some pride. And it means that the pride has very negative feelings. Let's try it before we going. Let's try to see from the map of conscious. uh, yeah. So map of conscious, developed by Dr. David Hawkins. And David Hawkins is saying pride is here. Okay. uh, Pride is a negative emotion, of course, but it's not really negative. It has 175 score, but its emotional state is scorn, and demanding. So when you are pride, you are demanding something from other as well, from your life as well, from society as well. Uh, but under the pride, there is anger, desire, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, shame. They are come under or below the rating of pride. After pride, there is a positive things, positive emotions comes. That comes courage. So yeah, so it's a great map. I really enjoy this map. It's a great research work he has done. Uh, it helps me to evaluate my emotions, where I am. If I'm in a guilty, I have a grief, I have fear. So I try to see where I am in a map. Uh, But obviously my work is to, my capacity or tendency is to go towards joy, love, peace, and enlightenment, where I believe our a lot of great persons have already reached, and still there are so many things. The more probably, or not probably, the surely, uh, Prophet Buddha, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and so many other peoples have these level of emotion, even beyond these emotions. So they were on the path of enlightenment, or beyond enlightenment, but we are unfortunately under still very bottom of the, like shame. We are have a guilty, apathy, grief. We are feared, a fearful person. We are beyond, below than what we need to do. So my purpose of this second section every Sunday is to help myself and to you to go towards the higher emotions where we are, and go towards higher emotion based on this map of consciousness where our prophets, our Jesus, our Buddha, and lot of so many peoples were there, and they are at that level. So that's it. I hope somebody have question to ask. Otherwise, I will finish it, and we'll see you next Sunday. Um, this recording is available on YouTube already because it's going to be live. Um and yeah, that's it. So thank you so much, and I will see you next Sunday with a new topic, with a new learning. And always remember, there is no best time to come. There is no right time to come to change your life. Only now is the time where you have control, and you can change your life right now. This is a power of now you can have. You don't predict your change in future. Don't think your change in future. This is just hoax. That's change will never come, and you will be more in misery if you don't implement your learning and your conviction right now. Try to change now. This is the only time where you have control, no, not, and no nothing else. Thank you so much. Sorry.
I said thank you,
Oh, you're very welcome, Cynthia. See you.
and
Thank you for
see you next
joining.
week.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you for joining. See
you're
you
welcome.
next week. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye now.